All right, good morning, Gab fam. We're back with episode 2 of the Daily Gab, and about to talk about some things: wealth, money, status, and positive sum versus zero sum sort of economics. And first thing I guess we'll talk about is like what is wealth, money, and status. Wealth is when you can create something that can sort of generate time for you in the future. It's generating money for you in the future, but you can kind of sleep on it and it benefits you while you're not doing anything. So when you build wealth, you're building a future that gives you freedom. You're basically, using a business or assets in order to build freedom in the future and get your time back that you put into it. So, and even leverage more time. And then what money is money's this social credit that we can transfer wealth in. So, someone who performs a good or a service, or someone who's gotten money from someone else who performed a good or a service, can transfer that value and that sort of time and future labor from someone else to you, and you can sort of use this exchange of social credit to benefit your life and unlock wealth later. So, and then you get to the third category, and this is where it gets very different from the first two. And this is called status. And status is like your politician is playing status games, and this is where it gets zero sum. And what a zero sum game is there's a winner and a loser. And this is like your journalist that says that wealth is bad, and he says that Jeff Bezos is bad because he's wealthy, or Elon Musk is bad because he's wealthy, and your journalist is saying that because they're actually virtue signaling. They're saying that I represent the people, and because I'm not wealthy, I am doing this. But it's putting someone down in that position. It's bringing them down a level in order to put the journalist, or the talking head on TV up. So those are status games, and politicians and other sorts of status games exist all over a spectrum. But the big difference that I want to highlight between these two things is positive sum versus zero sum. So we talked about status being zero sum. Your politician, your journalist, they're putting people down, they're virtue signaling. But positive sum is when you get back to wealth and money creation. You have people who are giving a good and service, and people who are giving their already earned wealth. And this is positive on both sides. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. It's not a parasite like you have symbiotes and parasites. They're both a type of parasite living inside of you. But if you have all parasites, you will die. Like, you need good bacteria and bad bacteria. So I guess that's my riff on this. But zero sum and positive sum versus zero sum, with capitalism versus status games, and the breakdown of money.
Totally. And the reason why that's like such a good summary is because even in my own life, I focusing on status games wears you out. And there's so much, like, I just feel like 95% of the conversations that are happening on the internet and happening on social media all have to do with status games. And like, I used to work on political campaigns. I still do, like, a little bit. And I just got to the point where it was like, I'm not sure if I'm adding anything to this conversation. And I'm not sure, like, even if like my person wins, if my person gains the status, or, I'm able to win this like status game, I don't understand what value like that's creating. And that's why I've started to more look at, like, in your description that you just gave, the money we use is broken. The money is broken. Yeah. And so I've really kind of taken on this philosophy of like, fix the money, fix the world. Like, we can't fix the world through status games, because as soon as candidate A wins the election, then everyone that wanted candidate B is sad and like depressed. And as soon as candidate B wins the election, then everyone on side A is disenfranchised or whatever. And that's why we need big solutions outside of politics, positive sum solutions. And that's why, like, the simplest way to like talk about that is fix the money, fix the world. Like, and that's why the whole past few days on Gab, like, and my whole passion for being over here is like talk about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is fully different. Like Bitcoin is a revolution that is revolutionizing money because the current money we have is being rigged by status schemes. If you type into DuckDuckGo, type into Google, type in Cantillon effect, look
Yeah.
up Cantillon effect. It's all about status schemes. It's all about how the newly created money flows to people with status first, and it hurts the people that receive it second. And so that's not even like, in that sense, the whole like capitalism versus socialism debate doesn't even capture what's happening. Like in that sense, like inside the United States, the money, the newly created money, is not flowing freely to people. Like it's a rigged game, and the money is broken. And so that's it. Status games are not going to fix that.
Yeah.
Status games won't fix that.
They make you a more combative person, and this is why there's so much hostility on the internet, is because internet is a real good breeding place for status games. Like you have blue checks, you have etc., and they all these hierarchies generally just breed the combativeness. But there are options, and another thing is technology is actually, it changes status games. You know, when you're in tribal settings, everything was a status game. You had the social hierarchy of a tribe. But when farming is invented, we went to a more wealth-based society. And so like there's a fluctuation of this capitalistic nature of how much status is injected into society, and we can bring the ball back because we're really getting far over into this political slash politics are a sport type of era, and we can bring the ball back the other way using some technology, using better money with Bitcoin and better, you know, versions of free speech where we're able to talk about things in a civil manner. Like
Mhm.
these things bring back the ball the other way. The pendulum's swinging back towards civil discourse and information capitalism. You know, us being able to freely exchange information is actually a mutually beneficial, positive game. We're making progress
Yeah.
with things that way. So
What I love about focusing on free speech and focusing on fix the money, fix the world, and focusing on like positive sum games is that there's a micro benefit to yourself and a macro benefit to the whole system at the same time. Because that's the one of the problems I have with the whole like, this is the most important of your election or of your lifetime, you know, go out and vote, is like, it's really hard. It's really, really hard for the average person to kind of relate their day to day to like these like decisions that they make every 2 or 4 years. And so it's not like voting is not bad or good, really. It just is a thing. But that's what I love about focusing on positive sum games and focusing on what can you do today? What can you
yeah.
focus on building and changing in your life today that also has a macro benefit?
Yeah, what can you create and what can you add to the conversation? And these two things, like, they benefit the people behind you and the people in front of you. So it's and yourself, you know, it's like a very creative outlet when you're trying to create wealth with other people and in all forms. Like, so yeah, I think we hit the nail on the head with that one. And we'll see you guys for another Daily Gab tomorrow.
Later.